Spider-Man No Way Home has finally come out. And I wanted to wait a few weeks to do my review because I really wanted to let it settle in. And I wanted to really know what I thought about this movie after all my hype kind of died out, right? That's what I wanted to do before anything else. And I'm glad I did it because now I can really go into what I really think about the movie after multiple watchings. I watched it about 4 times, just so I could sort of figure out what I thought. And there's a couple moments in the movie that I think work really, really well upon multiple watchings, and others that I think were a little, we could have gone without it, or this could have been a little better. But that's why I wanted to give it a couple goes, because if I made this review the night I watched it, I would have been gushing all over the movie. Best MCU movie. Do I think it's the case now? No. I think it's a top 5, though. I really do think this is a top 5 MCU movie. It's really, really good. Not just as a MCU movie, not just as a Spider-Man movie, but just as a good movie in general. So let's start from the beginning, and then just work through. So this movie picks up right where Far From Home leaves off. And I think for good reason, honestly. I will say, the first minute of the movie, after the credits sort of roll, the first logos, I think the beginning there is really, really well thought out. Just jumping right through it. With the first scene being right where No Way Home or Far From Home left off. We get no time between that. But it's also for letting people know that haven't watched Far From Home since its release. Okay, yeah, no, this is where it started. Right. This is where it started. Which basically gives them the little recap of, oh yeah, Peter Parker's identity is kind of out there now. He's a wanted man. And you can kind of tell through inklings of the movie that this was originally supposed to be a Craven movie, which honestly I kind of wish we got. I kind of wish that this was saved for like the really, really big finale for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. But I'm okay with the multiverse being explored now. It kind of goes with the theme of what Phase 4 is. So let's talk about the beginning, right? The lawyer scene is great. I love it. Just kind of highlighting their identities on how they sort of react in this sort of really high stress situation. MJ, very level-headed. She knows her rights. She knows what to do. She's very thorough and very good about it. Aunt May being smart and being like, okay, yeah, no, I know my rights. Ned's a dumbass. Peter's nervous and just talks. It highlights their personalities very, very, very well. MJ being snarky versus Aunt May being like, yeah, no, here's what you're gonna do. I think that right there, bring us back to what these characters are, how they feel, and the kind of atmosphere they all bring with each other is phenomenal. Very nicely done. This is where Charlie Cox is brought back as Daredevil. Very hyped, very excited. I did not think it was going to happen. Out of all the rumors, I really thought in my heart of hearts that they weren't going to bring in Matt Murdock. And I'm happy about it. I'm very, very thrilled about it. It's great. I mean, it's really one of the more interesting ways to bring him back, but also brings in the possibility of Daredevil's Netflix picking up right back off where it started. Or picking up right back off where it left off. on Netflix when it eventually comes to Disney Plus, when Daredevil comes to Disney Plus. Especially now that Kingpin is now a character in the MCU. It should be a good time. I'm very excited for that, but I think his reveal in No Way Home works really well. I think also to note, Doctor Strange is really good in this movie. Benedict Cumberbatch does really, really well again. Honestly, I mean, Doctor Strange is one of my favorite characters since his solo movie, and I'm glad that he remains to be one of the more interesting characters in the Marvel Universe right now. Especially with some of these weaker characters going on. Especially after Black Widow, I was kind of worried that these characters were going to end up a little more bland, and I was worried with after Eternals that I might have been right. I was really worried that after Eternals I might have been right about it, and I'm very pleasantly surprised. Doctor Strange is still very interesting. He's still he's awesome, and I love him. In terms of the living MCU characters right now, he's definitely up there in terms of the ones I'm more invested in. Especially with his second movie coming out, which God knows I'm going to go opening day for that one, because it's going to be so good. I am so excited for that damn movie. But no, I'm a huge fan of Doctor Strange. But while I'm saying that, I think they worked with him really, really well. He didn't overstay his welcome. He didn't overshadow Peter in the way they wrote him out of the story. For the majority of the second and third acts, I think really works. He did really well. And John Watts, I gotta give him credit. He utilized Doctor Strange well enough to where he didn't overshadow Tom, but it also didn't feel like he was worthless in the movie. He had his role, but he was there for the perfect amount of time. I think he was one of the best utilized characters in the movie. I don't think he was the best utilized, and we'll get to there in a second. But Doctor Strange kind of calling out Peter, just being like, hey, like, all these things are happening because you did it. Because of you. They're here because of you. You have to do this because you didn't cover your ass. This is all happening because you want to hold a secret identity. Everything is consequences in this movie. If I were to have given it a name, it would have been Spider-Man, All the Consequences. It's consequences. It's taking everything away from Peter because that's the consequence that he has to suffer through. It's consequence after consequence after consequence. The consequence of giving Mysterio the glasses. Consequence because he didn't think about calling MIT first. Consequence because at the end of the day, in order to keep the people that he loves safe, he has to sacrifice what he wants. He wants to go to MIT with them. He wants to keep being their friend. He wants to keep doing all that, but he can't. Because when consequences bite him in the ass again, there's no telling who's going to be the next gravestone beside Aunt May. And he wants to prevent that by distancing himself from the people that he cares about most. Simple as that. Spider-Man Consequences, the movie, which I haven't seen since Spider-Man 2. Phenomenal. Greatly, fantastically done. Loved it. Doctor Strange makes really good points about that. This is Peter's fault. Peter has to be the one to fix it, and Peter knows he has to be the one to fix it. And he does, but at the cost of what he wants. And that's the essence of Spider-Man. Because when he puts that suit back on, at the end of the movie, it shows that he knows what he has to do. He's got the responsibility, and he's going to keep doing it, but he's going to make sure these people are safe. So, very nicely done. like I said, there's just a couple things I didn't like about this movie. I didn't like everyone being cramped into Happy's apartment. That was some of the comedy did not stick in the beginning half of the movie. Ned is kind of funny in the movie. Some of his stuff didn't really land. The very hit or miss one, I thought was really funny when he asked Toby if he had a best friend, and he's like, no. He's like, I used to, and then he died after he tried to kill me. That comedy, I think Ned was funny in that movie, or that part. I think Toby's response was kind of stupid, especially because his monologue at the end of Spider-Man 3 is like, my best friend Harry taught me that we all have a choice, and he chose to be the better part of himself at the end of the movie. So I don't know. Maybe it's like Toby's way of how he came to sort of accept the death of Harry. I don't know. It's not how I would have written it, but at the end of the day, it's not bad. But I think what was really funny was where he's like, I'm not gonna become a supervillain and try to kill you. He's just smiling, and he's like, yeah, no, I got this. And fucking Andrew Garfield just pats him on the back, like, you did good, kid, don't worry about it. You know, that sort of look. No, that was hysterical. That was so funny. Embarrassing moment at the movie theater was when I actually did laugh when Norman says, I'm something of a scientist myself. And I was the only one in the theater that laughed at that. So that was something. That was something. That was interesting. But no, it was so let me wrap up my thoughts here. Acting's fantastic. The story was good for the most part. Doctor Strange was fantastic in the movie. Willem Dafoe sold the movie to me. Loved him entirely. Actually, I don't think I did a segue for I don't know if I did a segment for the villains yet. I don't think I covered them yet. Doc Ock's introduction, fantastic. I'm glad that the bridge scene was not very long at all. Because I was a little worried between all these promo images, the bridge scene was going to be a pretty long time, and it wasn't. It was only a few minutes. I'm very happy about that. The integrated suit looks very nice. The inside out suit looks very nice. There's some good ones. It looks really, really good. Jamie Foxx, I liked him in the movie. I don't think he was really necessary. Actually, that's not true. I didn't think he was necessary in the beginning, and then he had his little character arc wrapped up with Andrew, and I think he became integral to the film. Sandman being in there was not my favorite. If it were up to me, it probably would have been Topher Grace instead of Sandman. I would not have brought Sandman into the film. There was just nothing really there. But if you're talking about characters they all are fated to die, by Spider-Man. And I don't remember Sandman ever dying in Spider-Man 3. But if it were up to me, it would have been Topher Grace and the symbiote. But if you brought in Topher Grace and the symbiote, then what's the use for the other Venom then, right? But it's not that bad, I don't think. I don't think it would have been that bad. I don't think it would have been like a bad idea, especially because if you can have 3 Spider-Man, sure as shit you can have 2 Venom come into the multiverse. Maybe that was the original goal, and that's why Doctor Strange says what he does. But at the end of the day, we don't know. I don't know. So, I personally wish that it was Topher Grace that came back instead of Sandman. Especially because Peter can try again to get through to Topher Grace's Eddie Brock. Speaking of Eddie Brock, though, that post-credit scene infuriates me. It's not bad, and I get why they did it. It just kind of negates, it makes Venom 2's credit scene not really matter, and that really sucks. Besides, like, a little drop of symbiote, staying in the MCU, and that feels like a fuck you to me. As in, like, haha, you guys thought that we were gonna let fucking Tom and Eddie Brock meet? Nah, bro. And then just nothing. I wish we did get a line with Tom Hardy's Venom and Tom Holland, but who knows? Maybe it'll still happen. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Who knows? But no. This film is great. If you haven't seen it yet, absolutely do so. It's, I get that it's a scary time right now. The jumps in COVID from Spider-Man just being as good as it was is finally starting to sink in a little bit. And that kind of sucks. But if you're waiting for Blu-ray, and I understand that, I believe there are pre-orders starting around. So definitely, order that if you're on the fence about it. Absolutely get that movie. Absolutely get the Blu-ray, because you're not going to be disappointed. But I would hope that everyone who cares about spoilers has already seen the movie, because I didn't put a spoiler warning. So that's kind of gonna, I guess that kind of wraps it up. Anywho, I mean, is it my favorite MCU movie? No. I think I like Infinity War, Captain America, and the Winter Soldier, and yeah, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Infinity War, and Doctor Strange, are easily, I think are easily better movies, in my opinion. In my opinion, I like those more. I might even throw Ant-Man up there, because I've rewatched Ant-Man a lot. So yeah, No Way Home is probably 5. No Way Home's probably 5. It'd probably be Civil War, Doctor Strange, Infinity War. No. Maybe I'll do a tier list one of these days where I can really sort of think it out. Yeah. Captain America, Infinity War, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, No Way Home. Definitive top 5 for me, right there. Argue with me all you want. I don't care. Easy listing. Top 5 is easy. But no, absolutely go watch this movie. Fantastic. Won't be disappointed. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments section below, and if what you guys thought about the movie. Were you guys surprised that the other 3 Spider-Men were in it? Do you think that they did a good job with them? Because I sure as shit think that they did really nice in terms of wrapping up some of these story arcs that the original movie sort of left. And I think this, I'm very excited for the future of Tom Holland and his college trilogy. But let me know what you guys think. Please make sure to rate, comment, subscribe if you haven't, because there's going to be a 9-parter Spider-Man review series coming through. This is actually part 1 of it. We're going to go to part 2, where I'm going to go and I'm going to talk about the original Spider-Man from 2002. So subscribe if you're ready for that. You guys have a great day.